We're back.
Yep. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, another week, another look at the top restaurant news, sales, listings, and even franchise opportunities from We Sell Restaurants, the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm. I'm Robin Gagnon.
Hello there. I'm Rob Morrison. We're bringing you the biggest news of the week. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or even join our brand as a franchisee, this is the place to be.
All right, we're going to take on everything. Restaurant news, sales, new listings, insider tips on what's moving in the market. So drop your questions in the comments. We will answer them live.
Yep. If you're watching live, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're catching a replay, thank you very much. Type replay so we know that you stopped by.
All right, let's dive in. You ready?
Yes.
All right, what's happening in the restaurant marketplace? Here are some top insights of the week. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. First and foremost, why would anyone pay $28 for a grilled cheese?
Oh, I don't know, but let's try to get to the bottom of this. There's a restaurant in New York, of course, charging $28 for a grilled cheese sandwich. Before you say anything, it sells out.
No way.
Every day. And there's a wait list. The reviews are serious, and the owner's not apologizing for the price. So what's actually going on there?
All right. So it's not about the sandwich. It's about what the sandwich represents. Aged sourdough, Gruyere, local bakery, house-made tomato jam, all finished table size. The experience is specific. That sourcing, it's intentional, and the story is airtight. So people aren't paying $28 for bread and cheese. They're paying for the feeling of being somewhere that cares that much about a grilled cheese.
Yeah. And here's the business lesson inside this novelty. Premium pricing, not about charging more. It's about building enough context around what you sell that the price becomes the point rather than the obstacle. Operators who do this well know exactly who their customer is, exactly what they're selling, and exactly how to deliver it consistently. The ones who try to charge premium prices without that foundation just end up with empty tables and confused Yelp reviews.
I like that, confused Yelp reviews. But from a buying and selling standpoint, it really does matter, right? Because a concept with that clear identity and a customer loyal to that identity, that's worth more than a concept trying to be everything to everyone at a moderate price point. Specificity builds value. The grilled cheese place, it's not just a restaurant. They've built a brand. And brands sell differently than generic operations. So keep that in mind, whether you're building something to keep or building something to eventually sell and hand off.
All right, so that's interesting. What about this? What happens when a restaurant goes viral on TikTok and just isn't ready for it, right? Going viral sounds like a dream. You post a video, hits 1 million views overnight, suddenly everyone wants to eat at your restaurant. The phone's ringing, DMs are full, and your name's trending in your city. And then the next morning you open with a team of 4, right? A prep list built for a Tuesday and 300 people who saw the video standing outside expecting the best meal of their lives.
Yeah, that's not a success story. That's a stress test. And a lot of restaurants fail it, not because the food is bad, but because the operation, it was never built to absorb that kind of volume overnight. So those long waits turn into bad reviews. The bad reviews go, guess what? Right on TikTok. And that viral moment that was supposed to change everything has 2-star comments associated with it.
Yeah, the restaurant that actually convert a viral moment into lasting revenue are the ones that treat it like a business event, not a big party. They communicate wait times honestly, limit covers before they ruin the experience, capture emails and followers while the attention is there so the audience does not evaporate when the algorithm moves on.
So smart.
And then they use the spike to build a foundation, not just fill seats for a week or two.
And for our buyers, that's really a very useful lens when you're evaluating a restaurant. If you had a viral moment in that business and the sales spike didn't hold, it tells you something. But if it spiked and then settled at a permanently higher baseline, that tells you something very different. A one-time moment and real business are not the same, and the financials will show you exactly which one you're looking at. That's why verified financials, they matter more than a good story.
All right. How about this? The real cost of waiting. We hear it all the time. I'm almost ready. I just want to wait until things settle down. Going to start looking seriously in the spring. So we get it. Buying a restaurant's a big decision and it deserves careful thought. But there's a version of careful that turns into expensive, and a lot of buyers don't realize it until they're looking back at what they passed on.
Right. Such a great point. Here's what waiting actually costs you. The listing you were watching at $300,000 last year just closed at $350 because two other buyers were ready to move and you were still thinking it over. The SBA rate shifted. The seller who was willing to do 2 months of training and a flexible close, he's gone. And the next one available in that market is a different concept at a higher price with a shorter lease. Time is not neutral in this market. It has price.
And here's the part that gets overlooked the most. Every month you wait is a month you're not building equity, not paying down an asset, not collecting the owner benefit that somebody else is collecting instead. If a business generates $80,000 a year in owner benefit and you wait 8 months to pull the trigger, it's over $50,000 that's not going into your pocket. The cost of waiting, not just what you pay for the business, it's everything you don't earn while you're still deciding.
And you know, it's interesting because we see restaurants change hands, especially franchise restaurants. They trend upward after the transfer. So you just estimated that based on what the business was doing,
Right.
not what it will be doing under your ownership. And that's not pressure, it's just math. Buyers who consistently get the best deals are the ones who do their homework early, get their financing picture very clear before they even need it, and walk into the right opportunity prepared to say yes. So if you are serious about owning a restaurant in the next year, the best time to start that conversation, it's right now, not when the perfect listing shows up. Didn't I say this week to someone, perfection is the enemy?
You did.
Yes.
You did.
You just have to process.
Yep. That was very good. All right, so those are your insights. We'll get back to some more in a second, but let's talk about some top listings. 3 listings this week: Indiana, Florida, New Mexico, 2 turnkey coffee shops in Indianapolis, and under 1 purchase price. Beachfront restaurant in Ormond Beach, close to here, doing nearly $1 million in annual sales, and a fast casual Asian concept in Albuquerque, growing at 25% year over year. 3 states, 3 very different entry points, and 1 common thread.
All right, what ties it all together? It's the infrastructure. You don't have to build it. Equipped kitchens, established operations, leases already in place. You're buying a running start, not a renovation project.
All right, so let's talk about this one here. It's listing number 39689. It's in Indianapolis and Fishers, Indiana. It's represented by Eric and Bobby Irwin, and the listing price, $350,000. 2-location coffee shop package, 1 in Broad Ripple, 1 in Fishers, with combined annual sales of just over $500,000. Each location is approximately 1,200 square feet, fully equipped and ready to operate with no hood required there. The base rent's under $3,000 per month per location, and the leases run through February 28 with a 5-year renewal option. The seller's moving on to another business. 3 weeks of training are included and a team of 5 transfers with the deal. Revenue upside through catering, online ordering, cold brew and retail has not been fully activated there, and unsecured lending up to $500,000 is available for qualified buyers.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
It really does.
Yeah, next is listing 39354. It's in Ormond Beach, Florida, represented by Brittany Gates, listed just under $200,000, and boy, this one's a performer.
Yeah.
Sales over $956,000 for 2025. It's across from the beach, outdoor seating, and a lease. Very important, locked in through February 2031 at $4,500 a month. 2,500 square foot space. It seats 56 inside, 20 on the patio. Fully equipped kitchen, stocked bar. It's ready. Full service, counter service, takeout, or delivery. The seller, right, he's owned it for 8 years. He's headed towards retirement, but he's going to put in 2 to 4 weeks of training for the new owner. At under $200,000 for a business doing nearly $1 million a year, capital barrier here much lower than you might think. Unsecured lending up to $500,000 available.
Okay. How about this one? The third one this week is 39439, and it's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, represented by Emily Benedict. Listed at $185,000, certified, pre-owned. The financials are verified and the books back them up. Sales here, $690,000 with a verified owner benefit of just over $76,000, up 25% year over year.
Wow, that's a nice increase.
It's kind of unheard of. The seller invested more than $450,000 to build it out a few years ago in 23. You're acquiring it at roughly 40 cents on the dollar with brand new equipment throughout and a trained team of 12 already in place. 1,400 square feet, $3,300 a month in base rents, so the overhead there tight, the seller's motivated, and the timeline is quick. The upside in marketing and delivery has not been touched yet, so the capacity is built in, just have to really turn it on.
All right, great opportunities. 2 coffee shop locations in Indianapolis and Fishers for $350,000. Beachside restaurant in Ormond Beach under $200, doing nearly $1 million a year, and a certified pre-owned fast casual in Albuquerque, New Mexico for $185,000, verified owner benefit, and a build-out worth more than twice the asking price. Very different deals, but they're all built to run from day one.
Yeah, and all 3 are live right now at WeSellRestaurants.com. Just hit that Get Complete Package button on any listing. It catches your eye. The financials, the broker, and next steps are only 1 click away, so don't sit. They move quickly.
All right, we're going to move on to top insights for sellers. So if you're thinking about selling your restaurant, here's something most sellers don't consider until it's too late. Your lease, right? Not just a detail in the deal. It's one of the first things a buyer and their lender are going to examine, and it can make or break the offer before it's even written.
Sure. Here's why. A buyer's not just purchasing your equipment and your sales, they're stepping into that location. And if the lease has 2 years left, no renewal options, a lender's going to have a very hard time financing that deal. Business may be performing beautifully, but a short lease puts a ceiling on what a buyer can borrow and what they're willing to pay. In some cases, it stops the deal entirely, not because the business wasn't worth buying, but because the real estate underneath couldn't support financing.
Yeah, just looked at a deal like that this morning. On the other hand, a lease with 5 or more years remaining renewal options, that's an asset. Gives the buyer confidence they can operate, grow, and eventually sell again from a position of strength. We see it consistently. Restaurants with favorable lease terms attract more buyers, close faster, and command stronger prices than comparable business with this lease uncertainty hanging over them. That term on your lease is doing more work in the deal than sellers ever realize.
True. The other thing sellers don't realize is that lease assignment requires landlord approval. That process can take some time. If you wait until you're under contract to start the conversation with your landlord, you're introducing a variable into your closing that you can't control. And some landlords move quickly, others...
Few landlords move quickly, I would say.
Some take weeks or months.
Yes.
Yep. And if a landlord decides they want to renegotiate terms as a condition of approval, that can shift the entire deal. Sellers who understand this get ahead of that. They know where their landlord stands before a buyer ever comes to the table.
There's also this question of what does your rent look like relative to your sales, right? Buyers and lenders, they're calculating occupancy as a percent of revenue. So if your rents crept up over the years while your sales stayed flat, that ratio is going to raise some red flags. If your rent is well below market for a high traffic location, that is a competitive advantage worth highlighting. So knowing the number before you go to market means you can tell the story the right way instead of letting a buyer tell it for you.
Yep. So if you're thinking about selling in the next year, pull out the lease right now, know your expiration date, know your renewal options, know what your landlord's assignment clause says, know what the rent looks like as a percentage of your sales. That document's going to be in front of every serious buyer and every lender who looks at the business, and the sellers who understand it walk into these conversations with real confidence.
Listen, for sellers, they built something real. The way you position it, price it, and present it to the market determines whether a buyer sees what you've built or sees a risk they have to manage. Your lease, it's part of that story, and it's one you want to control.
True. All right. We have some insights for buyers as usual this week. There's a question that Serious restaurant buyers almost never ask early enough, and it's the one that determines everything else. Not what concept do I want, not what market do I want to be in. The question is, what does my first year actually need to look like for this to work? What does the lease cost me? What does debt service look like at this price point? What is left over after payroll and food cost and my own salary? Got to pay yourself. That math needs to happen before you fall in love with the listing, not after.
Yeah, because here's what happens when it doesn't. A buyer finds something that feels right. The concept fits, the location makes sense, the price, it's reasonable. They picture themselves behind the counter. Then somewhere down the road, they find out the numbers don't have enough margin for a slow month, an equipment repair, or the 3 weeks it takes to find a replacement line cook. The business works. It just doesn't work for them at that price with that debt load. And that's a painful place to land.
The buyers who close on the right deals are the ones who build their financial picture first. They know what they have for a down payment. They understand how SBA lending works for restaurant acquisitions and what they can realistically qualify for. They know what debt service looks like at different price points and what the business needs to generate above that number to actually pay them. That clarity is what lets you move fast and move confidently when the right opportunity finally shows up.
And moving fast matters. It matters more than most buyers realize because good inventory doesn't wait. A well-priced listing with verified numbers, a trained staff, and a favorable lease, it's not going to sit on the market while someone gets their financing sorted out. The buyers who win are those where opportunities are already prepared and everyone else is scrambling to play catch up.
Yep. There's also a piece of this that goes beyond the numbers. Buying a restaurant isn't just a financial decision, it's a lifestyle decision. The hours, staffing, day-to-day demands of operating a business, all part of what you're buying. The buyers who thrive are the ones who have been honest with themselves about what they want ownership to actually look like, not just what they want it to produce.
Such a great point, because a concept that generates this strong earnings but takes 70 hours a week from you,
Right.
it's a different investment than one that runs with a manager in place and gives you flexibility. Both can be a great deal, but only one of them is the right deal for any given buyer at that moment in their life. Knowing which one fits your lifestyle is just as important as knowing which fits your budget.
Yep. And the restaurant market's very active right now. Sellers who have spent years, sometimes decades, building something are ready to hand it off. The opportunities are real, financing is available, and the infrastructure to step into something already running is right there for buyers who are prepared to act right now.
All right, so if you are serious about buying a restaurant in the next 6 to 12 months, start the conversation before you start the search. Our certified restaurant brokers, all here at We Sell Restaurants, can help you finalize that financial picture. Make sure there's clarity, understand what you qualify for, and make sure that when the right listing lands in front of you, your answer is yes, not, let me see if I can make this work.
Right.
Reach out at WeSellRestaurants.com and let's get you to a yes.
All right, we've been selling a lot of restaurants and we want to feature a few. Every closing, of course, has a story behind it. What the seller was walking away from, what the buyer is walking into, what everything the broker had to do to hold that deal together in between. This week we have two of those stories and they're both worth telling.
All right, different markets, different assets, different obstacles, but one thing in common, a certified restaurant broker who gets the job done.
All right, let's look at listing 31495 in Harrisonburg, Virginia. It was closed by our certified restaurant broker, Don Williams. The seller had built something genuinely different here, a specialty cookie delivery concept tied to Virginia University branding with a proprietary software platform, 3 registered trademarks, student workforce that already knew how to run it. Not a restaurant for sale, it was a brand, an intellectual property, and systems behind it. And his reason for selling was clean. New ventures to pursue, travel on the horizon, personal goals pulling him in a different direction. Not distress here, not underperformance, but a deliberate handoff from someone who built something worth buying.
Oh, sounds amazing. And the buyers, they were a husband and wife team, experienced business owners that were building a portfolio. So they knew what they were looking for. They saw this 3 trademarks, a software platform, a trained workforce, and word of mouth in a college town. They saw the value immediately and moved on it.
That's what happens when the right listing finds the right buyer. Don got it across the finish line and everything transferred nice and cleanly, and that's the way to do the job. Good job, Don.
Yes, great job, Don Williams. Okay, second featured listing, 30858 on the Treasure Coast, Florida, closed by certified restaurant broker Ted Tallman of WSR Port, Florida. Port St. Lucie. Oh gosh, mixing up my words this morning. But the original ownership group was interesting here. It was 4 people. One had experience with a franchise, the other 3 didn't. The group was not involved in daily operations, and honestly, the business wasn't making any money. But they made the right call. This business needs an operator, not an investor group.
Happens all the time. The buyer group that came in was structured completely differently. 2 investing partners who'd already backed locations in this franchise system in other markets, and a local operating partner who knew the Treasure Coast, experience in the brand, presence in the market, clear roles defined, and everyone is involved.
Yeah, so it sounds on paper like this clean match, right? But in practice, the landlord approval process dragged out considerably. There were moments when the timeline was working against everyone in the deal.
But guess what? Ted kept it together. Every delay, every stakeholder check-in, every moment where a less committed broker might have let the deal go quiet, Ted stayed with it. And when the landlord was finally ready, that transaction was ready to close.
All right, 2 deals. One with this intellectual property that needed the right buyer to recognize the full value. One with a franchise location that needed the right operator to finally run it the way it deserved to be run. Both closed. That's what happens when you have a certified restaurant broker in your corner who treats your transaction like it's the only one that matters.
Yep. It's 2 stories, but they happen every single week across every market that we operate in. If you're thinking about buying or selling a restaurant, visit WeSellRestaurants.com and connect with a certified restaurant broker near you. Your story could be next.
All right, speaking of what's next, we have got 2 great new hot listings this week, and they couldn't be more different. Wisconsin Charm meets Raleigh Energy. So we have a cozy neighborhood restaurant with a beer and wine license, 60 seats, and a lease locked in through 2034. And a Raleigh hotspot near North Carolina State doing over $1.5 million a year. 2 markets, 2 concepts, and one thing they share: walk into either one of them and be ready for business fast.
That's right. No build outs, no guessing, just starting from scratch. No starting from scratch. Just 2 businesses that already work in 2 markets that are not slowing down right now. And the price points make sense. So let's talk about it.
All right, first up, listing 39526 in Portage, Wisconsin, represented by Travis Kuehl, listed at $110,000. 2,500 square feet, 60 seats, a beer and wine license, and verified sales under 400,000, but earnings of around 46,000. Space is fully equipped, ready to operate on day one, and the lease, it's one of the cleaner ones you'll find. $3,500 a month, including all CAMs, a term running through December 2034, and renewal option behind that. Long-term stability at a great rent level. That's genuinely hard to come by. The seller operates multiple locations, and he's letting it go simply because it's too far from home. Hear it all the time. It's not a distressed business. This is an opportunity for a hands-on operator to give it the attention it has not been getting. Sounds like that sale of Ted's a moment ago. Current hours are 11 to 8:30, so there's real room to add breakfast, extend into late night, build out a stronger weekend trade. The concept is flexible. You can build your own ideas into it or keep what's working, and lending may be available for qualified buyers.
All right. So let's talk about this one. It's listing 39350, and it's in Raleigh, North Carolina, represented by Paul Peterson, listed at $269,000. Second generation space near NC State, doing more than 1.5 million in annual sales. Location sits in a high traffic corridor, consistent student, faculty, and residential demand, kind of built-in customer base that can take years to develop anywhere else. Kitchen's fully loaded for high volume production, commercial hood, in-ground grease trap, walk-in cooler, high capacity fryers, flat top, refrigeration, they got it all. It's approximately 2,100 square feet and it seats 47. Layout's efficient, flexible, beer and wine license already in place there. Here's what really sets it apart though. Rent is below market for the area at approximately $4,900 a month with up to 15 years of available lease term through existing options. And in a market like Raleigh, near a big university, that combination of proven sales, below market rent, and long-term lease stability is rare. So bring your concept, skip the build-out costs, and put your name on the door in one of Raleigh's most active restaurant corridors.
All right, there you have it. Proven Wisconsin neighborhood restaurant with verified owner earnings and a $1.5 million Raleigh moneymaker near North Carolina State with below market rent and long-term lease security. Two very different deals built to hand off and run.
Yeah, and both listings are live right now at WeSellRestaurants.com. So hit that Get Complete Package button on any listing that catches your eye. The financials, the broker, and the next steps are one click away. So don't sit on these if they interest you.
All right, moving on. Closing a restaurant sale, it's one thing, but then closing that deal, having the seller walk away feeling genuinely taken care of, that is something else entirely. So this year we're sharing two stories from sellers who did not just get to the finish line. They got there with confidence, with clarity, and with a broker they trusted every step of the way.
All right, and this is what we mean when we talk about our core values, not just a tagline, not a mission statement, just two real people, two real deals, and two brokers who showed up exactly when it mattered.
All right, first Amy. She worked with Taylor Clemmer out of We Sell Restaurants Nashville, who had this to say. I reached out to Taylor Clemmer about selling my Nashville bakery, and from the very beginning, he was professional, knowledgeable, and thorough in explaining the entire process. He brought several strong offers to the table, helped me carefully evaluate each one, and fully respected my decision when choosing the right buyer. Taylor's organization and guidance made what could have been a stressful process feel smooth and manageable. He was also incredibly patient and always available to answer questions along the way. We officially closed the deal this week, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. I highly recommend Taylor to anyone looking to buy or sell a restaurant or bakery.
Wow, great job. Several strong offers, careful evaluation, a seller who felt respected through the entire process and walked away happy at the closing table. Not an accident, it's what preparation and communication look like when a broker is genuinely doing the job.
All right, from Georgia Northwest, Jaritzi Medina worked with Paul and said this. Paul has done a great job helping us through the process of trying to sell our restaurant. He has been professional, hear that word again, helpful, and always willing to go the extra mile to assist us. We truly appreciate all of his hard work and dedication. If we ever need help again in the future, we will definitely use him again. We highly recommend Paul to anyone looking for someone trustworthy and committed to getting the job done.
There you go, trustworthy, committed, always willing to go the extra mile. That last part matters more than people realize. Selling a restaurant isn't a transaction you hand off and forget about. It's a process with many moving parts, unexpected moments, and decisions that carry real weight. Having a broker who stays with it and with you from the first conversation to the closing table changes that entire experience.
There, you heard it. Two brokers, two markets, two sellers who walked away with the outcome they were looking for and a partner they would recommend without hesitation.
So if you're thinking about selling your restaurant, this is what working with a certified restaurant broker at We Sell Restaurants actually looks like. Reach out at WeSellRestaurants.com and let's start your story the exact same way.
All right, so let's take a step back from those listings and talk about a completely different kind of opportunity. One that does not put you behind a stove or dealing with a Saturday night rush. We're talking about owning a business where your product is expertise, your market is local, and your income is tied to one of the most active resale markets in the country.
Yeah, the restaurant resale market doesn't slow down. Owners can retire and concepts can evolve. Life obviously changes, and every single time a restaurant changes hands, someone needs to be in the room who knows how to make that deal work for both sides. That someone is a certified restaurant broker, and right now We Sell Restaurants is looking for the right people to own that role in their market.
And here's what makes it different from anything else you might be looking at. You're not buying a concept and hoping that buyers will show up. You're stepping into a nationally recognized brand with proprietary technology, a marketing engine already running, a pipeline of leads already being generated. That infrastructure is in place. The brand does the heavy lifting on awareness. Your job is to work the business.
Yeah, and if you've spent any time in restaurants at all, in sales or management or any business, you already have more than the foundation than you might think. It's not about teaching people how to work hard, it's about giving people who already know how to work hard in a system that actually rewards them for the hard work. The skills you build on the floor, behind the bar, or running a team transfer directly into this model.
And here's something worth saying out loud. This is not a lifestyle sacrifice. There's no dining room to open at 6 in the morning, no food costs eating into your margins, no scrambling through a Saturday night rush. What you're building is a professional practice with real flexibility, real earning potential, real equity that grows the longer you're in it. You set the pace. You own the territory. You built something that's yours.
And the brokers who thrive in this model are not starting from zero. They're coming from restaurants or corporate America, from sales or finance, people who are already good at reading people and building relationships and closing. They've just not had the right vehicle yet. We Sell Restaurants is that vehicle. It's a proven system, a recognized brand, and a market that's not going anywhere.
So if you've ever thought about owning something of your own, but the timing wasn't right, or the risk felt too high, or the path felt unclear, this is worth a serious conversation. Deals are happening in your market right now. Restaurants are changing hands every single week. The only question is whether you are the one guiding those transactions or watching someone else do it.
So head to WeSellRestaurants.com/franchise to learn more and take the first steps. Market is moving, the opportunity is real, and the people already doing it built it one deal at a time, starting exactly where you are right now.
All right. If you've been thinking about franchise ownership, but the startup costs, build out timeline, and uncertainty have given you pause, there's another path, but buyers should consider a franchise resale, an existing location inside a proven system, already open and operating.
And before you ask, no, they're not all problem locations. That could be the assumption that many people bring to the conversation. Nearly always wrong, however. Owners sell for the same reason anyone sells a business: retirement, a relocation, a partner buyout, life changes, whatever. The business isn't the problem, the timing is. And that timing creates a real opening and opportunity for a buyer who's ready.
All right, and here's what makes franchise resales fundamentally different. When you buy inside a franchise system, you're not flying blind on the numbers. The franchisor has performance data across every location in the brand. You can see whether it's underperforming at the system average or overachieving the system average. That context, something you almost never get when buying an independent, changes everything about how you evaluate the deal.
And think about what it means in practice. A location that looks average on its own might look like a serious opportunity when you see what top operators in that system are producing. Or a location that looks attractive on paper might tell a different story once you understand where it sits relative to the brand. That comparison is only possible because of the franchise structure. Most buyers never think to ask for it. The ones who do make significantly better decisions.
There's also the support structure to consider. When you buy a franchise resale, you're not acquiring the location. You're entering into a relationship with a brand that has interest in seeing you succeed. The approval, transfer, and training obligations, those aren't obstacles, they're protections. The franchisor wants the next operator to succeed. The alignment works in your favor if you approach it in the right way.
And the economics can be compelling. You're often stepping into a space that's already built out, already staffed, and already generating revenue. You skip the construction delays, the ramp-up period, and the uncertainty of a grand opening. You pay for what's already there and start from a foundation instead of from the ground up.
So buyers for franchise resales are the ones who come prepared. They have done their homework on the brand. They may have reviewed the FDD, or they have someone in their corner who understands how franchise transfers work, not in theory, but in practice. And that's where we come in.
That's right. At We Sell Restaurants, our certified restaurant brokers work with franchise resales every single day. We know the questions to ask, the numbers to pressure test, and how to guide a qualified buyer through the approval process smoothly and efficiently. If a franchise resale pops up on your radar, or if you should be, and you just have not looked closely yet, reach out to us at WeSellRestaurants.com. The right location, it's already built, it's already running, and it's waiting for the right buyer, so we can find it together.
All right, and with that, that's going to wrap up the week's top sales, listings, and franchise opportunities. So if you're buying, selling, or exploring a career in restaurant brokerage, reach out. We'd love to help.
Yep, great deals move quickly. Click the link in the comments or visit WeSellRestaurants.com to learn more.
If you enjoyed today's show, hit that thumbs up, share it with someone interested in restaurant ownership.
Yep, follow our page so you never miss a new listing, and we'll be back next Friday with more updates.
Have a great weekend, and remember, our name says it all. We sell restaurants.